My name's Chris Ellison, I'm the marketing manager here at Westwood Motor Group. I'm here at the Wigan branch today, and I was planning to do a video, and I've been planning to do for some time, on one of our electric vans. Obviously I've done a couple of electric cars, but electric vans, some people are still a little bit reluctant and a bit kind of unsure about the things. So I thought, fine, what I'll do is I'll grab one of the electric vans, take it out on the road and just show it in use like I usually do. Well, then I thought, well, a van, you kind of use a van to do things in it. Obviously, if I'm just driving a van around with nothing in the back and just me in the front seat just talking at you like I normally do, it's going to be a little bit kind of not quite so representative of what you'd use a van for. So last weekend I got the opportunity to actually use the van as the van is intended, to actually carry something. One of my good friends is moving house. He's built himself a nice house near to where his parents live, and he just needed a bit of a lift, moving some things from one house to the other. So I thought, fine, I'll use that as the opportunity, go around, give him a hand, show the van in use, and then talk to you about it. That plan's changed, because last weekend I did just that. However, we had such a great conversation about electric vehicles, and I saw his genuine reaction to just how good this particular van is as a van, not just as an electric van. I thought, I'm going to keep most of that footage and just let that video do the talking and just let you listen to the conversation as it happened. So anyway, just as a quick introduction, this is the Toyota Proace Electric. It's one of the electric vans on our fleet, obviously. As the name suggests, it's modelled very closely on, well, it is literally just a regular Toyota Proace, just without an engine, and it's got an electric motor in it instead. Obviously you've got the charging port there. It can take the regular Type 2 socket. That's the most common electric power supply you'll find out and about. But also you can plug in the faster DC charger using that arrangement there. So if you're familiar with electric vehicles, you know exactly what you're looking at there. Also, you notice there's a little button here. This lights up when it's in use, and crucially, it allows you to unlock and take out your charging cable, because if you don't want to, for instance, wander away from your van while it's charging and have some cheeky urchin unplug it for you, so you realise it's done no charging while you've been away. So the only way to actually take that off is to have the vehicle unlocked and press and hold that until it releases the cable. It's a useful thing to mention, simply because, again, it's one of those things that people ask about electric vehicles. So pretty much most of them have got that. So let's plug that back in. So other than that, yeah, I'll cut straight to the footage of the van in use, with just a little road trip with me and my friend Stephen, helping him move house, and we'll let you make your own mind up. Okay.
Just like a effectively 3-seater up here.
Yeah.
Nice armrest there.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, aren't they?
Yeah, you kind of push it all the way down, ratchets to where you want, and then.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I can't stand things, but
I like them, me.
I don't like armrests.
Really?
Yeah. So
I know, wouldn't me.
people at work bring Volkswagen Transporters back. Most of them have got armrests both sides. It's like first thing I do when I get in, it's like get rid.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and this folds down. There's obviously you can't see it at the moment, but there's a mini desk in there.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's dead practical.
Written. Will Boris Johnson be remembered as a bold, dynamic
Right, we
leader?
don't want this radio for, do we? Okay. Right.
This is going to be an experience, I think.
It's going to be weird. Good weird, hopefully. Okay, so
normally, obviously the diesel.
Obviously, it's technically it's not an automatic because there's no gears, so there's no automatically changing gears, but it works the same way.
What the hell is that?
That's can you see your drive mode selector there? So
oh right, yeah.
Currently it's in park. If I push that up, it goes into reverse. Right, and obviously you can see the reverse sensors on the screen. That's neutral. That's drive there. You got drive mode there as well. You got eco, normal, and what's that one? And power.
Cool.
Yeah. You know what? Normally power is where I set it, or sport mode, or whatever the vehicle's got. Because it's electric, I'm kind of aware that if I put my foot down, I get less miles. So it's always been driven in just normal. I've not tried eco yet because I'm not that desperate.
So where's all the mechanical stuff then? All the battery and things like that? Is it under the bonnet, or is it in the middle of the car? Where is it?
It's under the floor essentially. At least I think it is. That's where they normally are, right in between the wheels. The electric vehicles typically have a really low centre of gravity. Let's move off.
Completely silent.
Absolutely, yeah. You might hear the motors a little bit. I'm interested to see how this feels with a bit of stuff in the back.
Oh wow.
Bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. But in a good way.
Yeah. I mean, right this moment, because I'm braking slightly and we're heading downhill, I've got a needle there that tells me what the van's doing at the moment. And right this moment, it's because it's not needing to use power, it's regenerating power from the momentum of the downhill, so it's kind of in charge. Put my foot down a bit more, now the needle flips, it's now eco driving. And if I really put my foot down, it would be in power driving, which means I'm driving with no efficiency at all. You're kind of always really aware of that as well.
But just like I say, just tootling along, you've got what, 129 mile in the tank?
Currently, yeah. I started with 200. Obviously I've done a little bit of driving, getting back from work and going to the gym this morning and going shopping last night. Obviously I got some free extra charge from Tesco because every supermarket now has electric charging
points,
and Tesco's free.
Cool.
Right.
They're pretty well built as well by the looks of it, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, Toyota, everything from Toyota is pretty good generally in that regard. And obviously we've got a full load, we've got some hills coming up, we've got some very steep hills near your place. So yeah, definitely. So it's still an eco now, even though we're going uphill. I'm not out the speed camera there, I'm not going to put foot down.
What are the prices like on this?
It's a good question. I mean, electric vehicles typically cost more to buy than conventional equivalents where conventional equivalents exist. The thing is, though, the running costs are negligible because we don't sell brand new vehicles. We rent them out for a year or so. So we've actually bought the vehicle. So people who hire them are just paying to rent it. And obviously you compare the running costs to a diesel or a petrol, and electric cars cost literally nothing to run.
Thinking if you've got your own company and you've got something like this that you're leasing on a monthly basis, it'd probably come in a lot cheaper than any other diesel, really, and any other hybrid, I would have thought, wouldn't it?
Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, obviously, if you have a fleet of these, or even one or two of them, you're going to get an electric charge point at your office. I'm pretty sure there is still a grant for electric charge points, so that cost you a lot less. If you're in a business premises, there's a chance that you've got a 3-phase power supply, which means that you can have faster chargers than you can have at home. So I mean, I think the 7 kilowatts is the fastest you could have domestically, I think, whereas a 3-phase power, even the one at our Bolton branch can do 22 kilowatts. So which is at least 3 times faster.
Yeah, and obviously just need a few hours to charge up then.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Or whatever.
But the thing is, though, vans are never and cars for that matter, are never in complete, total, and constant use. There's always going to be a time where you're not driving it, and that's the thing with electric vehicles. You don't treat them like a petrol or a diesel car and fill them up when they're getting close to empty. It's just not going to work if you do that. But if you treat it like your mobile phone, just whenever you're putting it down, whenever you're not using it, whenever you can, just stick it on charge, just put a little bit of extra power in it, and you start noticing that you can do that pretty much anywhere. Like I said, I went to Tesco last night. I got free electricity from Tesco while I was doing my shopping. 3 extra miles.
Yeah.
Got chatting to a nice bloke actually there. He was charging his EQA and he says he's got an electric power supply at home for his car, but he doesn't charge it at home, he charges it at Tesco because Tesco gives him free electricity. He's travelled thousands and thousands of miles for nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm aware that my car costs £130 to fill up, so you know.
Oh,
yeah.
130. It has got a bit mad, hasn't it, recently?
Yeah. You don't pay £2 a litre for electricity.
And obviously the tax bracket for road tax as well. Even in, like, I suppose London, if you're in London, you've got the chargeable. You know, to go into London, you've got to pay some sort of surplus charge or something. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. You've actually got two different charges. You've got the ultra low emission zone, and you've also got the congestion charges. Now they're two separate charges, but you now have to pay both of them, and they now cover both pretty much the same area. If you're driving from outer London to inner London, it'll cost you £25 every day you do it.
Wow.
So,
and that's in a normal car. You don't have to pay that in an electric.
Electric cars are exempt from every single congestion charge and low emissions charge. Obviously, there are other cities now that have them, but any electric vehicle is exempt from paying any of it. So, like in London, that example, if you're driving 5 days,
yeah, it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Exactly that, yeah. I mean, essentially, if you're doing Monday to Friday, you travel from outer London to inner London every single day. That's £600 a month just for driving your vehicle. That's £600 a month. That if you were driving this, you could
pay for that each month for this. I would have thought, wouldn't you?
Exactly, yeah. Like a Jaguar I-Pace that we had in, or a Vauxhall Corsa you had in. You could hire both of those vehicles. You could drive both of those vehicles, and if you're driving from London, the I-Pace is cheaper, despite the fact that it's a 70 grand luxury SUV that can do 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Would you rather drive a Corsa or an I-Pace?
Well, yeah.
Exactly. And the I-Pace is cheaper if you're in London.
God, it's ridiculous.
It's crackers. Well, people have got this thing about electric vehicles, or they don't go as far. They do. Yeah, you have to adjust your habits, but ultimately, if you do that, people don't like change sometimes, but they do make a lot of sense in a lot of circumstances. Obviously, this thing has got 200 miles of range, which is a lot less than a petrol or diesel equivalent. However, most people don't do 200 miles in a day. Most people do 20. Some of them might do 50. So that isn't really a problem, unless you make it a problem by leaving it till it's empty before you top it up. Right, reversing. Am I better reversing straight in, or actually I can drive? I can drive around the island, can't I?
Well, to a certain extent, yeah.
That's fine.
This is going to be weird. I normally go in reverse, but...
Yeah, it's actually quite steep, and it's handled that reasonably well, I think.
Yeah. Don't really want to put it there.
Put it here?
Yeah, can do, yeah.
Fair enough. Cool.
Yeah.
There we are. First impressions?
Very good. It's weird, isn't it, how it's so silent? I love it.
Obviously you've got aircon and all your creature comforts as well, so you know it's not like you're skimping. Alright, let's unload you.
See you back, are you alright?
I'll be fine.
Okay. What are these?
They're just covers for the charging cables.
Alright, okay. Sure. We'll leave them there, or?
Oh,
What do you mean?
if you've got room in front of your knees, if you wouldn't mind just tossing them down, or on, yeah, that'll be. Thank you. Right.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare getting out of there.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, obviously, the van, it's got big mirrors and it's got parking sensors as well, so there's it's not that hard. Obviously, it's not too big either, this thing.
It's quite compact, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go, there's parking sensors, it's picking up that bush.
Yeah.
And we're out.
It's quite warm, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Oh, you can hear it a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much... Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I suppose it's good that it's not fully silent, so at least people, you know, can hear it ever so slightly.
Yeah, I was about to make a very similar point, actually. Just because you do notice there's kind of a bit of a whining noise on electric cars, and I'm sure it's not the motors making that. I think it's speakers just to let people know it was there.
Yeah.
It's like in the olden days when cars first introduced, they used to have to pay a little bloke with a bell to run in front of the car so people knew it was coming. I think it's cool how they make it sound a bit like the Jetsons.
Well, to be fair, I wouldn't care what noise it would be if it was saving me shed loads of money.
You're not wrong. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, with electric cars, they make loads and loads of sense for business users. Because if you got a company car scheme, it used to be the case where you paid 0 benefit in kind company car tax. It's currently 1%, which is still nothing. So, am I best going left or right here?
Right.
Right, cool. Up the big hill. I think I need power mode for that. Yeah, so the I'm pretty sure electric vehicles don't pay road tax at all. I mean that will change eventually. It has to, but currently, I mean, 1% benefit in kind company car tax. You know, a lot of electric vehicles are kind of big luxury things that you pay kind of 30%, 40% or something like that on the value of the vehicle. Oh, have you got your seatbelt on?
Yeah.
It doesn't think you have.
Have I put it in the wrong one?
It's possible.
Put it in the wrong one.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So yeah, if you got a big expensive electric luxury vehicle, you pay practically nothing on your benefit in kind company car tax. So again, massive benefits for business users, as well as obviously the fact that they can, most of the time, if they're parked at the office, they can plug in and drive to work for nothing because the company pays. So yeah, there's so many benefits to it. And again, it all goes back to not having to pay £2 a litre as well.
Yeah, I mean, it might even increase even more as well. Fuel prices. I don't know whether it'll go down anytime soon.
No, you never know.
I wouldn't want to take that risk if I was buying a new car.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's the thing with I mean, electric vehicles are still a little bit expensive to buy, which is why hiring them makes sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, not only paying less overall for the vehicle. If you're doing it via a company, it's not an asset that's sat on your balance sheet depreciating. It's a tax deductible expense. So again, it just works for tax purposes. And in fairness, you do see a lot more of them on the roads now.
Oh yeah, they're a lot more popular than they used to be.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's somebody with a Ioniq 5 across the road from you, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's a lovely car as well.
You hear a lot of cars going up and down at night. You know, with electric, you won't have that issue, would you?
No.
You know, if it's fully introduced electric, which it probably will be in a couple of years' time. So.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think right this moment we're kind of in a bit of a sweet spot for a good time for electric vehicles, because the price of them is coming down. The charging infrastructure is starting to get there, but the benefits of having one and the cost of running one is still low. I mean, eventually the government's going to have to start figuring out ways to tax them a bit more, because they're making practically nothing on electric vehicles at the moment, and if too many people have them and not enough people are paying fuel duty on petrol and diesel, then they're going to have to find a way to make people driving pay when they're not having to pay for liquid fuel.
Yeah.
But right this moment though, they don't, so they're very cheap to have and to run.
Yeah.
They're just not cheap to buy.
For a van though, this is pretty good, isn't it? You know, like all the tech you get on it.
To be honest, modern vans now,
It's quite minimal.
yeah. Well, the thing is though, there's very little to mess with. Obviously, there's no gears, there's no gear stick. It's just motors, so it doesn't really need any adjustment there. So you drive it like you would an automatic. So obviously, I don't have a clutch pedal. I've just got an accelerator.
A lot of it's in the screen as well, so you just got a lot of options on your screen there: radio, phone connection, Bluetooth.
Yeah, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, screen mirroring as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, I took that call before, and just straight through the display, and that's kind of part of the course these days.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you kind of your bottom of the range, bog standard, basic vans and vehicles might not have stuff like that, but you know, we at work we just don't have that kind of stuff. You know, it's everything we do is kind of upgraded, top of the range or high end spec. So you always get plenty of good stuff.
And where are your sites now? Wigan and
Bolton? Wigan and Bolton, yeah. Yep, and both of them have got electric chargers, naturally. The one at Bolton's faster though, I have to say. But again, that's because Bolton's a commercial premises, and it's always been a commercial premises. So it's got it's got a 3-phase power supply, which means we can have a much faster charging system. Whereas at Wigan, because it's a pub originally, it's only got a domestic power system.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can only have the same kind of wall box that you would have at your house.
And you're saying obviously there's sort of government grants to get them connections on your house or for your office, you know, like a power connection.
Yeah. Don't quote me now, because I think it's kind of something like £300 or £400 towards the cost.
Okay.
I think businesses can have up to 40. I think.
40.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Before they lose the grant. Again, that's off the top of my head. I might be wrong. And it's obviously everything is subject to change at any time. But for the time being, you know, I mean, I'm sure nobody wakes up and goes, I know I'll just get 40 electric electric chargers for work. Yeah, so he kind of builds it organically, I suppose. But yeah, obviously if you don't have any, you can still get a grant towards the cost of it.
That's good.
I think new build houses, I think, are required to have them now.
I've just missed the boat on that, I think.
Well, you actually built your own house, so you know you're responsible for sticking your own in.
Well, yeah. I'll have to get an electric car first, I think.
Well, I can help you with that.
We'll see.
Tell you what,
It's just so.
appreciate the aircon on a day like this, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Quite a nimble little thing, isn't it? You know,
it is.
To a van.
Yeah. That's the thing with electric vehicles in general. You know, you got instant torque. I mean, fine, this isn't kind of rip your face off fast like some of the cars that we've got in, but it's still
quick, isn't it? Yeah,
it is.
It's quick enough.
And it's just very, very simple to drive as well. Some of them have even got like one pedal driving where you don't even need to use the brake at all. It's just there for emergencies. But even so, I mean, obviously I'm just accelerating, I'm braking, and it's very, very responsive. I mean, that's the thing with most vans are diesels, and diesels to a greater or lesser extent, you get a bit of turbo lag. You put your foot down, you wait a fraction of a second, and then it goes. Whereas this, you put your foot down, whoop, instant gone.
Yeah. There's no slouch, is it?
No.
Wouldn't mind trying one of them Porsche Taycan things. I bet they're quite good, aren't they?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Are they hybrid or are they full battery?
Taycan's full electric.
Alright, okay.
And we're getting them in. So
Are you really?
Yeah, so I'll let you know.
Oh god. Yeah, definitely let us know when you've got them in. I'll come and have a look at them.
Our MD Chris is getting one of the absolute top of the range ones.
Oh wow.
I think that one will do 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. Yes.
Oh, God.
But yeah.
So these are like, you know, like the Taycans and is it the Tesla Model S? Like Lamborghini and Ferrari killers, aren't they? You know, that 2.5 seconds to 60. I mean,
yeah.
It's just getting insane now.
It is.
And do you think a lot of the marketing strategy of these manufacturers like Porsche and, you know, I know Ferrari are doing a couple of hybrid ones as well. Do you reckon it's all about the still 0 to 60 times? Or?
To be honest, I mean, 0 to 60 times now, I mean, they're so low. Flipping heck.
Yeah, just...
Taxi driver goes through on red. Yeah, who'd have thought it? Yeah, I think 0 to 60 times now, they're a bit silly. I mean, 2.5 seconds to 60 in pretty much silence. I think traction on the road now is probably going to be a bigger challenge than actual increasing the acceleration speed. I mean, I'm not an auto engineer, so don't quote me on that.
You'd still be going through tyres like no one's business if you're doing that all the time at the lights, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, and the kind of tyres that would be able to tolerate that kind of acceleration as well, I suspect wouldn't be cheap. You know, one thing I do like about this is how it works in stop-start traffic like this. You know, because it's I'm not having to mess with the clutch or mess with the acceleration. I take my foot off and it instantly nudges forward, my foot off the brake. So it's dead easy.
Well, I think on a lot of the other cars, you know, the stop and start facility on a lot of them, I wasn't a big fan of that because, you know, you sat at the lights, for example, like this, or even heavier traffic, and it's always turning on and off, and you think, is that actually good for the engine? I mean, it's probably saving you a little bit of fuel, but I just thought it was a bit of a gimmick, really, the stop and start.
I think it's good for fuel, it's good for efficiency, it's good for, obviously, if you sat idling, you're not chucking stuff out of the tailpipe while you're stationary. So I think it might be more of an environmental factor, even though it will save you a little bit of fuel. I don't mind it as long as it's not annoying. With some of the kind of the earlier stop-start systems, it takes more time than you would like it to. You know, when you're ready to go, you put your foot down and it's still waking up when you want to move. Some of the newer ones are a lot better at anticipating it. You know, the moment your foot leaves the brake pedal, boom, it fires up and it's ready to go. Yeah. And you can force it to do that if you want to anticipate and get ready to go by kind of half taking your foot off the brake, just to take the pressure off your foot a little bit, and it'll start up ready for you even though you've not actually fully taken your foot off the brake. So again, a little bit of driving style helps it. It's just something you get used to. So as you can see, the electric van has done an absolutely cracking job as both an electric vehicle and just as a van in general. It's easy to drive, and hopefully we've managed to counter some of the misconceptions that some people have about electric vehicles and about electric vans as well. So anyway, obviously you can rent this van anytime you like. We have it in stock right now, ready to drive away, and we have lots of other electric vehicles on the way in. Both cars and vans available here right at Westwood. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and feel free to get in touch if there's anything at all we can do for you. As we always say, cut your costs and improve your image with Westwood. Speak to you soon.